That's fine. Hey, how y'all doing? Back again, another episode of the It Factor Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy Robinson. Today, we have some special people. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Well, hello. My name is Carmen Greenard-Varnum. I'm Jonathan Greenard's mother of the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm here to promote my book today called The Momager.
Indeed.
And I'm her son, obviously, John Greenard, play for the Vikings. I'm going on year 5 now, so just happy to be here supporting Mama.
Yes, indeed, man. It's a blessing to have both of y'all today. I would say, how are y'all doing mentally, physically, and emotionally?
Well, for me, mentally, I'm in a much, much better place from 3.5 years ago. As you know, I became a widow. And so I had a lot to take place, some surgeries and so forth. And I had a lot of support through family and friends to get me through there. But main focus that my faith in God is what really got me through and where I am today. I'm doing much better.
Indeed.
So, I mean, I think it's been a great journey. Obviously, I had a lot take place within this past year. But I'm excited. I just got married, had a baby girl last year. New team now, so obviously everything's just new and transitioning, but it's been fun.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I say, what went into you writing your book, The Momager of Jonathan Greenard, NFL defensive end, and what do you want people to take from your book?
Well, from my journey, starting from the very beginning, just watching him grow and to develop to where he is today. And when he mentioned that he wanted to become an NFL player, as a mom and his father, we just stepped in to make sure we had the right tools that he needed to get him to where he is. And once I got there, I had another NFL mom, Eric Berry. His mom is Carol Berry. I hope she don't mind me mentioning her name, but she was one of those people that someone directed me to her. And when I called her, she was like very open and welcoming. She said, anything you need to know. And from there, it got me started. And once I got into this realm of him being in the NFL, God just placed people in my life to give me directions in the right way. And so it was a lot of things that is needed that I need to know, that he needs to know. And while he's focusing on the field, I need to handle the other part. And by us communicating as a mother and son, he allowed me to do those things. Communication is the key. And by me communicating with him, it allowed us to do what we do now, by me staying in my lane and he do what he got to do. And so I felt that by putting it in a book, because I have parents that contact me, especially during the time when that combine time comes around and that child is finishing college, they want to know, do you know an agent? Do you know a financial advisor? Do you know this? And I was like, look, I'll be all over the place on the telephone trying to give out this information. So what better way to do it by putting it in a book where they can read it? And I'm still open for dialogue, and people want to call or email me, but it's much better when they can get this book right here on Amazon.
Indeed. Yeah. So with that being said, what is you all's it factors? Why do y'all do what y'all do?
Well, for me as a mother, paying it forward, because God has truly blessed my family. He blessed all of us in many different ways. And it's not always about monetary. You can give knowledge. And so that was my way of paying it forward, giving it back to others the same way it was given to me. Knowledge is power. And so when you have that information, you can go so many ways with it.
Yeah. I work with my foundation, obviously, with John Greenard Foundation. We just had our camp last year. But that was the main thing, is where our motto is leveling the playing fields. And I think that my thing is, coming from a small town in Hiram, Georgia, where I played ball at in high school, it helped me out to understand where I was and be able to venture off and go to college and meet different people and understand truly what it means to be from a small city, and understand, the different odds and different, adversity you're going to face, obviously being from a smaller town. So once I got to the bigger stage and grand stage, I never shied from it. I always still tell people where I'm from. If you're from an area, I say exactly where I'm from, which is Hiram. But to the ones who are not familiar, I say Atlanta. But real huge emphasis on trying to make sure that everybody gets the same opportunities elsewhere, so that way no one is getting shorthanded or the short end of the leash, and that way everybody can have the same opportunities.
Indeed, I love that. And I would say how can your book assist parents? Like I was reading your book, which is a great book, by the way. I wish I had that, growing up, my mom had it. It would have been a big help. But I would say, in their journey of trying to get that pro athlete, or even just trying to get their kids to go to college, different things like that. You hit some great points in your book. And I would say, what some advice would you give to parents even more? So
I tell the parents, listen to your children. Sometimes as parents, we have dreams and aspirations for our children, but you have to listen to the child and say, if this is what you really want to do. And when Jonathan said that to me, I have two boys that play sports. One did not want to become pro, and the other did. But as a parent, we got them to get their education, because education is the key. And go to college. When you get the scholarships, parents don't know that there's a two-part to it when you want to go to college playing sports. The clearinghouse portion of it, you have to meet the qualifications with the clearinghouse NCAA requirements in order to even to accept the scholarship to go to college and play college sports. And so my thing is, once you pass that part, get a degree in something that's going to be beneficial outside of college, because anything can happen at any given moment. You can hurt yourself, anything. And so you always want to be prepared for that backup plan. I've always got my son as far as having a backup plan. He's gifted in so many different ways, and I'm still saying things, but he knows what he wants to do at this point. But mama gonna always be that mama in the background. Well, why don't you try this? Have you thought about this? But yeah, talk to your children, listen to them. And if that's not something that they want, just because that's what the father may want, because he didn't do it when he was there, don't force that on your children, because it's hard work. It's a certain percentage that makes it in the NFL. And you really have to be realistic with yourself. You got to put that hard work in, because he looks like this. I'm going to give you an example. His trainer, he sent me to the gym for 3 months. He's the trainer he has here named Speedy, and paid him for three sessions, 3 months. I went for 2 months. The last month, it was a donation, because he wore me out. And I myself, me as a mother, 56-year-old working out, it's hard. So imagine what he does on a consistent basis every day, because the key to this is consistency. And you playing at a higher level each year, from pot water to middle school to high school to college. When you get to that grown man sport, that is a very, very high level. And you have to be very consistent, because every year there's a draft and there's new kids, fresh meat coming in. So, I just say to the parents, listen to your kids and don't put unrealistic expectations upon them. If because everybody don't have that. It's an it factor with each player that's on that field. And every year, to get on that 53-man roster, you got to push and go harder and harder. So that's what I say to the parents. Get that education first.
I love that. And I feel like it is needed, because at the end of the day, like you said, everybody's not going to make it. But, you got to put your kids anyway. You got to say, hey, anything. I know my mom pushed me through college to be where I am today. So definitely I would say that to you. I commend both of y'all for where y'all are now. So with that being said, I would say, Jonathan, when did you know, man, that like, you know what, I want to be a pro athlete? And what advice would you give to young athletes today?
Yeah, I think probably I first kind of recognized it when I was in Little League playing just rec ball. I was always playing running back, and I just love to score touchdowns. So like once I eventually just started to just continually score touchdowns and do it in different ways and see the excitement that the game could give me, obviously by making plays. My thing, I love making plays. I mean, I don't that's just been my motto from day one. I mean, I love hearing my name called, whether it's a touchdown, big hit, or whatever. I just love that type of, that type of spotlight, in the sense of making me want to achieve that again, not just for the notoriety aspect, but I love that feeling, So about in Little League, and then towards my junior year, I would say that in Little League in my senior year, going into my junior year was when I was like, okay, maybe I have a little chance at it, because I was still playing running back a little bit, but I had gotten I hit a growth spurt. So I went from running back and middle linebacker to defensive end and tight end and pretty much receiver. So once they switched me from that, I was like, I mean, do I even have a chance to play my position anymore? So I didn't even think about college ball. I'm just thinking like, all right, well, they're just going to have me out here playing because of my body style. But after that junior year, I had a pretty solid year, and I kind of could see a little bit of, that I could have a little bit of future at this defensive line thing. And I ran with it. As soon as I got a little bit of looks, I just ran with it and kept going. I mean, at that point, after going into that senior, I was already committed to Louisville. And once I committed, then I really then knew, I said, okay, now that I got my foot in the door to the college level, I just needed that, and I can take care of the rest to get to the league. So that was it.
Definitely, man. And what advice would you give to young people out there that not only want to be pro athletes, but just want to grow and go to college either?
Yeah, I highly encourage for everyone to go to college, man. I think not just an aspect, you hear a lot of stigma around college and everything about it. It's a waste or this and that. I go for more times, not just the experiences makes it think like you're just going to just have fun. Right. Open your mind. There's so many people and different views and different mindsets out there that I feel like as humans, we should be able to go out there and get exposed to that, because it only just makes us more aware and more better as people around us. So that way we can understand more, have more empathy when it comes to that. Because I feel like in this world, everybody lacks sympathy and empathy in this world, just because they just don't know. A lot of people fear the unknown, and when your mind is not, exposed to those different things, it stays closed-minded and it rejects anything that's going to be on the contrary. So I just feel like that's just the best advice that I could give is go for it. Go for the experience to understand who you're around in these world with, and it definitely just puts you in a better mindset, and knowledge is power. So whenever you can get those things through wisdom in those experiences, I'm all for it. So if you're not gonna go for football or any sports, I would definitely say just go for the experience for sure.
Got you in that. I would say that leads to my next question. Why was it important for your kids to be in other activities outside of just football? Like I see in your book, you spoke about how if they played football, the grades had to be right, and they also had to go to church, which I had the same thing with my mom. She wasn't playing. She was like, "You're gonna do something,"
Yep.
Yes, our faith is strong in the Lord, and without faith, you don't have nothing. I'm sorry. That has been with me throughout my life, because I've had a lot of life adversities, but with my faith and staying strong and faithful to him is what has gotten me to this point. And so when he blessed me with children, because children are a gift from God, we need to treat them just as that, precious gifts, precious jewels. We are to guide them, we are to nurture them, we are to teach them. And so that was my thing. Idle mind is the devil's workshop. And I said, so when the kids are sitting around, they're allowing the computers and the games to entertain them. That's how that creeps into the mind. And so when I put them in sports, that's an activity outside. First of all, they need to run and exercise and do things. And so outside of that, give God some time, because he blessed us with these gifts. So why not give back to him? And so they like to sing. Of course, Jonathan is an anointed gospel singer. And so we found that gift along this journey as he was a little boy. And so they got into the youth choir. My daughter on the youth praise team and so forth. Those things, they need that balance in life. And so that's where he is today. All of my children, when they have obstacles, when they have things that they can't come to me, they can always talk to the Lord, and they got to worry about it going out to nobody else but him. And as we can see where he is and where my other children are, God has truly blessed them. And I also let them know, by you all giving him that time, he's blessing you and giving you the opportunities to do the things that you do. Some people will sit back and they'll look like, well, man, how did this happen? And sometimes I try to explain it, but sometimes I really can't explain it, because it's just the blessings and the favor of God that he has over their lives. I pray daily for the God's covering over them. I don't care how old they are. I will continue to pray over my children, because we're in a world where so much evil and so much is going on. You have to pray for yourself every day when you get up, and just thankful to be alive each day. People don't understand that. So it was very crucial for me to not only have them on that field, them go to church, give time, and then other activities that they were be involved in, because Jonathan just wasn't a one-trick pony. He played basketball, a little soccer here and there. So me and my husband, we was all over the place. Did we have time? No. That's the sacrifice of what parents do for their children. Definitely. I tell people it's a sacrifice. And so I gave up a lot of things, but you know what? I'm able to do those things now. That's the payoff.
Indeed. I love that. And I would say, with that being said, what was it like stepping in that role of being a momager, instead of getting someone else or outsourcing? How was that for you?
I'm very territorial when it comes to my children. I'm still that way to this day. I felt that the basics, knowing how to balance a checkbook, have a check and a savings account, those are things that I introduced to them like junior, senior in high school, even though I was the guardianship over it, but they would know how to balance money, period. And so when we got into this journey and I figured out what all was needed, there is no way they can handle that. There's just no way. And so even I had to learn some things along the way, even though my career was in financial services and healthcare, and then I did corporate banking for some years back, still I had to really understand a whole lot. So I'm a type person, you can talk to me, but I need to see it on paper so I can read it and research it for myself. And so when the agent starts coming, I sat there. He said, well, mama, you talk to him. You fill me in on what's going on, because he was knowledgeable a little bit more of different agents that I were. Because when Drew Rosenhaus came, I didn't even remember about the movie Show Me the Money. My husband did at the time. And so when they approached us, like during halftime at games, because they come at you, when you least expect, when they see that talent in your son. And so once I got the literature and the business cards, I started researching, Googling who they were. So when I did have the meetings with them, I was a little bit more knowledgeable of who I'm speaking with, in our meetings, and who you represented and how long you've represented these people. Because everybody can talk a good game, but you got to know that when you're sitting at the table with these people. And so I wanted somebody that was seasoned, that could have my son's best interest. A lot of little factors with that, because my son hurt his wrist 2018, and he had several agencies that was coming to him, but then some dropped off. So I looked at the longevity. I looked at the loyalty of different agents, how they stay with these players, because sometimes they'll fall off along the way before they get to the combine and so forth. And then when it came to the financial advisor, I had to understand that, because that was out of my spectrum a little bit. But I had to really sit down and read. He's a smart young man, very intelligent young man. So we did that together. And then once I got it going and he started meeting with these people, he's the CEO. He handles his own money, and he knew what to do and how to go from that point. So it went that factor. Also, insurance agent, you have to get insurance policies and that sort of thing. Now, I'm very familiar with that. That was in my realm. So I was good on communicating on that. So as on this journey, we've been like piggybacking back and forth off each other. But now this is fifth season in the league. He got it. He's a grown man. He's a married man. So now mama can kind of sit back a little bit, because I've done my job. And so once you guide these children and you put that knowledge in them, and they can take off and go on with it. So that's where I am today.
Got you. And I love that. So I would say to you, Jonathan, how was it for you to see everything pay off with you getting drafted by the Houston Texans?
It was great. Like I said, it got a little foggy in 2018 just because I had a bad injury to my wrist, and me playing D-line, as we know, that's the game, name of my game. I got to play with my hands. So I literally was skeptical about even wanting to keep going. I didn't know if I would be able to. So going into that final year, I ended up transferring 2018 when I actually did miss the whole season. I transferred the next season to Florida, where my former defensive coordinator, who pretty much recruited me, was down there with with another coach. And I wanted to go on my last year, is just not having to learn a new system. I knew his system like the back of my hand, and I could just go and play, which was my last year at Florida. And then it paid off. I mean, that whole time, as soon as the first game happened, I actually played the first game that I actually got hurt in 2018, the first game in 2019 when I got to Florida. So it's kind of like I had to face my fears in a sense. But when it came to that, I basically just wanted to make sure that that I was making the right decisions, and I wasn't going to be hesitant playing ball or anything of that sort. So once I eventually got to that point of dominating in college, and I got past the mental aspect, and to hear my name called, and it was obviously during COVID, so it was like a weird time in that instance. But it was a dream come true. Still definitely knew that my job wasn't fully done. I mean, I feel like I still had so much, because in my eyes, I feel like I should have been a first round pick. But at the same time, that's some things I couldn't control, and I just used that as fuel. And it kind of got me to this point now. And even then, I still carry that to my shoulder, because y'all's going to have naysayers. You're going to have everybody saying, oh, he shouldn't have went this place. He shouldn't have got this and that. But what do they know? I mean, nobody knows anything at this point. Only thing you control is what you do on that field. So knowing when I got drafted, I had an opportunity to go ahead and showcase my talent, to prove myself even more. That's all the ammo that I needed.
Indeed. I love that. I would say, who is Carmen and Jonathan outside of all you are known for?
I would say for sure, we're both like the same person. I feel like we're both like perfectionists, and I think that we both try to get the best out of anything that we do. Whether if it's to the smallest T, we're going to try to make sure that it's 100%. We don't like 99.8s. We only like 99.9s. We need 100%. So I think that mindset of always wanting to be first. I always wanted to be the best of whatever I've done, period. So, and I know it's the same for us. So it's kind of like whenever you see us, whether it's a back and forth, it's more so of us arguing about the same thing, wanting to be the best right part about, if it makes sense. Not in the like, oh, you're wrong and I'm right. It's more like more right in this sense. So I think at that point, that's where it just helps me to never be satisfied and never get complacent in anything I do. So that's why I've always, no matter where I came in, third round, first, whatever the case may be, or even now, even, being in a new team, I still want to be able to be the best version that they thought I was when they first got me, so and that's the name of the game in this league. If you're not steady on this upward trend and you're just in this part, you're going to eventually just get passed over. And I feel like with the draft, I think that's, some people look at the draft as a, oh man, they're bringing somebody else in. I'm like, oh yes, they bring somebody else in. It's going to make me try to bring it up another notch that I even knew before but myself. So I love that. I love everything about it. I love to see guys achieve their dream. And I feel like me being a part of this, now my purpose in the NFL is obviously I make plays and do what I do, but to be that extra little mentor and a different guide from a person that came in the way I did and is still able to achieve the success I've done. I think that's the main thing why I'm here. And I think that's where I get that from her for sure.
Amazing, man. I would say, as a mother, how does it feel to see the fruits of your labor in your children, and seeing them being successful and being the people they are, all your sacrifices have paid off? How did that feel for you?
Do this, I'd be like, yes. I'd be like, whoo, because it's so much work has been put in. And when I tell you, whoo, and I always, like when he got drafted third round, I was like, just get in the door, just show him. And this is how I am. But it feels great. It took a minute to adjust to this. A lot of people that know me, that really know me, they say you haven't changed, and I haven't. The only thing changed was my address. That's it. I'm still Carmen. I'm still that loving, caring person. I don't play. I'm straightforward, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but sometimes, no matter how you put it, somebody ain't gonna like it. But that's just how I am. I've been a stern disciplinarian all their lives. You can't wait till children get in high school and try to raise them. You got to start when they're little babies. You got to start telling them no. Can't say yes to everything. I've always put structure in my home with my children. There has to be structure. And so everything that I put in, I just sit back, and some days I say, Lord, how did I do it? How did I do it? Because it was a lot. I just, I have my bio of my life out, and some things I've never even spoken about, but I was looking, I said, Lord, how did I do it? But I just thank him every day that I wake up now, because it's like a sigh of relief, and I can just breathe now, and I can live now, and it's awesome to have 3 children, all 3 of them, to go and do what you say do. Yeah, they might go astray. Nobody's perfect, but on the most part, they respect me as their mother, and I tell them I earned it. So I'm just grateful to God to see where they are today, and I always try to push them and encourage them. If I see something ain't right, they might not want to hear, but I'm still say something. But I have learned this though. They are young adults. They are adults now, and I have to respect them as adults. Sometimes I might not agree, and sometimes I don't always have to say something. Sometimes I can just sit back and I just pray about it and say, Lord, just cover them, guide them, because sometimes they have to make these hiccups, these little mistakes, to understand where their shortcomings are, what happened. And so they can learn from the mistakes. And so I've learned to kind of pull back a little bit. And now, since everybody's not at home anymore, he's way in here in Minnesota and others in Alabama. And so they're not right up under me. But I do feel comfortable and say, I've done my job. I put that work in. Everybody can't say that, but I can say that. And I challenge anybody, don't challenge me with that, because I have put the work in with my kids. So I'm just grateful to God to see where they are today. It's a blessing. It feels good. I'm not going to tell a lie. It feels real good.
Yes, indeed. Job well done. Job well done. I say that to y'all. But I will say this. My last question is, what are you looking forward to, Jonathan, this season, going with a new team? To be very honest, I know you're going to do well, man. So what are you looking forward to the most?
For sure. Picking up where I left off, I think I'm still gonna bring that same mentality, same everything that I just got back from Houston. I think the toughest part about the departure, the transition is, being in Houston for the past 4 years. Last year was my first winning season. In my first winning season, we got until the second round of the playoffs, and I'm like, okay, well, now we got up here, now we got to go to another place. But at the same time, when I first got here to the team, and I remember Minnesota, obviously last year and the years before, when they were making these playoff runs, where they were pretty much right there, a couple plays away from, obviously controlling their destiny. But I want a ring, man. I think I done got 4 years in. I'm gonna say I done got paid, man. At this point, I need a ring, dog. And I think my mindset in general is like, we go through, like she mentioned before, the workouts, those grinding tough days, the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. I'm 27. I just turned 27 in May. As we know, we ain't got much longer in this. Like, I mean, let's just be real. Father time don't wait on nobody. And I'm going to enjoy my youth. I'm still young. I still embrace it. I still am going to enjoy it. As long as God lets me continue to play this game, I'm going to do it. But I need a ring, man. We don't go through these tough days and stuff like that just for us to come back and say, oh man, we were almost there. Nah, like that mindset is past that. We're not in no rebuild. And the team, they know that. They know what type of time I'm coming with. And I don't like she said, she don't play. I don't play. I mean, obviously I laugh and joke all the time, but whenever we step in the white lines, they know what's up, and that they know my mindset what I bring to the team. So to definitely pick up where I started off and expand on that, obviously, and definitely go get that ring. It's definitely my goal this year.
Indeed, go get that ring, man. And I would say, do y'all have any questions for me?
Got any?
No. You've answered in my last podcast. It was good. I just want people to come out. I do have my book signing will be on July the 20th.
Yeah.
July 20th at 1:00 at the Taco Mac in Hiram, Georgia. Come on out, get your book. You can also go to Amazon.com and get your book. You can just pull up Carmen Greenard-Varnum. You'll see all of my books that I have online. And but purchase the book. Get this for your son, your daughter in sports, any youth that wants to become a professional player. This is a guideline, my blueprint of what got me to where I got Jonathan where he is today. It's a great tool. It will guide you. It will answer a lot of questions. And I promise you, if you don't understand, you can have my email. It is in here. Just hit me an email and I will respond back to you. Thank you.
So thank y'all so much for coming on the show. Y'all keep being great, and I'll be talking to you soon, Ms. Carmen.
All right. Thank you for having us.
Have a good one.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.